Okay, here we go. We're going to go live here in just a few more seconds. Great. Good morning and welcome back to another episode of What Did I Want to Be When I Grew Up? We got Sam and Jeremy here, and good to see you this morning, Sam. Hope everything's good.
Yeah, it
We were
is.
we were just
Things are
talking
pretty
about we were just talking about the absurdities of daylight saving time, or as I like to call it, government imposed bedtime adjustment. Why do we have to pretend like changing the clocks? Oh, really? Yeah, noon isn't when the sun is highest in the sky anymore. Look, if we want to change the
good.
time,
Right.
let's just change the time that school starts and ends. Talk to your employer about changing your work schedule. They can do it company wide if you really don't want to. But do we really need the government telling us when to change our bedtime? Seriously?
That's right.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Okay. I got a person for you today.
Okay.
Someone and there's a connection here I had no idea about. We'll get to that in a minute.
A
Uh,
connection with daylight savings?
Not with daylight saving, but a connection to the theme of our channel, the fact that we're always talking about what
Oh,
did I
okay.
want to be. Turns out this person actually wrote a book with that title, What Did I Want to Be, or something along those lines.
No
I
way.
had no idea till today because I knew this person for far more interesting and exciting, at least for me, kinds of things. This
Okay.
this person is won several Grammys and has been nominated for several more. So big musician, right? Famous musician.
Okay.
Has several gold albums, multiple platinum albums, has starred in television shows, written and starred in movies, is also currently voice acting for an animated series on Disney. It's a really fun series. Uh, Also holds, at least as of a few years ago, the record may have been broken since then, but had a record number of spots for top 10 viral songs on Spotify. So really,
Oh,
really
wow.
popular songs. So, you expect this is going to be a sort of a household name, right? Somebody, do you have any ideas
Yeah.
yet?
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond
No.
would be a good guess. The funny thing about Neil
Um,
Diamond, my mother was just enamored with the guy. And my parents, they bought tickets to Neil Diamond concerts when we were all young teenagers. And we went to Neil Diamond concerts as little kids, turn on your heart light. The guy went crazy with the laser shows and it was insane. But
wait a minute. That's like a scene out of is it What About Bob?
it,
Where
it,
he's
it would fit that. My young life would definitely fit in a movie like that. There's just a lot of really weird stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
what's
yeah.
what's the scene? What's the scene in What About Bob when he first meets with Dr. Marvin and
Hmm.
he telling his backstory and he says there are two types of people in this world, those who like Neil Diamond and those who don't. My ex-wife loves him. And
Uh-huh.
and I can't even remember the rest of the scene, but anyway, that's
Nice.
um okay, back to the clues.
Yeah.
I don't
I've intentionally
I'm
stayed
trying.
away from some of the more signature and obvious things that would be a total giveaway. First off, he is male, so that might give you a little bit of a hint
Okay.
because he was a big fan of Elton John in the 70s, and Elton John's album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was one of the reasons he actually really wanted to learn how to play the instruments that he plays the most on stage. So you'd
Like
think
piano and
so you'd expect him to
yeah.
be some kind of a what I guess Elton John isn't known for the guitar, so it wouldn't necessarily be that. It is similar to the piano, at least has some comparisons there.
The organ. I don't I
Kind
don't
of
know.
kind of an organ that you carry around with you. And if you could see the
Wait a
background right now, you don't see this yet, but our audience sees
I
a
can't.
person standing on the stage carrying a very large
Is it
piano-like item.
an accordion?
An accordion. Okay, all right. That makes it easy now, right? What
Oh my
famous
goodness.
artist plays the accordion?
The only person I can think of is Weird Al, but
That's exactly it. And would you believe Weird Al Yankovic has had these big, highly popular albums and things like that? He's been on lots of shows. He
really?
apparently wrote or co-wrote his movie UHF.
Okay.
And He wrote a book, a children's book. You can go find this thing on Amazon. It was not sponsored. I would love it if it was a sponsor. But Weird Al Yankovic, When I Grow Up. It was illustrated by somebody who has this style that looks an awful lot like Shell's, kind of Shel Silverstein style.
Okay.
Really cool looking illustrations. And yeah, it's all about what did I want to be. And of course, there's a question and answer thing on there that talks about what did he want to be? And of course, all the answers are a little bit silly. Like, what did you want to be when you were Billy's age? When I was 8, I think I wanted to design miniature golf courses or be a writer for Mad Magazine. That's a lot of the, they asked him what was the weirdest job he had. He was an accordion repo man. Don't think that one's actually true.
What? What's an accordion repo man?
Well, apparently, there were a lot of kids who, he says, wanted accordion lessons, but they didn't own the accordions, so they'd lend them out. And once they stopped taking lessons, he'd have to go and repossess them. Though he said most of the time they were very happy to get rid of the accordions. He didn't understand why.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah, he
That's
got his first
interesting.
big break with Weird Al Yankovic. With Dr. Demento back in the mid 70s. I think it was about 1976, maybe. He was 16 years old, did his first recording. We talked about him in another stream. Sent the tape into Dr. Demento, who put him on the air, and that really helped launch his career. But it's cool.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Something you said made me think about this. What was like, I'm curious for you, what was one of the most I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe like far-fetched or biggest dreamer sorts of things that you wanted to be or wanted to do as a kid?
The most far-fetched is that I thought I might be able to do enough weightlifting over the course of one summer to get pretty buff and have people actually think of me as somebody with a little bit of physical strength instead of the total wuss that I have been my entire life. That was definitely. I even, I was bench pressing out. My dad had a tiny little weight set out in the workshop at our house growing up. And I'd do my little bench presses with whatever it was, 25 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
I think the bar
It's
weighed
probably
as
more
much
like
as the
50.
weights.
I'm sure it was more like 50 or
Yeah.
75 or something.
But I'm trying to get a little bit stronger. One of the neighbor kids said, "Dude, give up. Just forget it." I'm like, "Hey, like, thanks." But I said, "No, I'll be able to bench press 100 pounds by the end of the summer." Obviously, I didn't. Never. I probably still can't bench press 100 pounds. But I do enough home improvement projects that I can lift reasonably heavy stuff. No, that's not where I ended up. I'm more into the engineering kinds of stuff, more hands-on technology, small stuff, not big heavy items. I was actually at my daughter's college class. She's in an engineering program, and one of the labs they have these giant electric motors. Like really, really big ones, so much that you can't even carry the things around. They roll them around on carts in the lab. And it's so safe in this lab. They have you wear safety goggles and protective gloves and everything. And then they have you hook up 277 volt electric power with these tiny little wires with alligator clips on the end. So you're hooking up dangerous high voltage things to these giant electric motors and then flipping the switch and watching them turn on. It's so safe.
Yes, that sounds very safe.
They're
kids.
teaching him how. Back to Weird Al though, because he one of his latest things right now. I think the series is still going, but he is the starring voice talent in an animated series called Milo Murphy's Law. Very fun to watch. Yes, it's definitely targeted at younger kids, so I guess I'm a kid for being that interested in it. But Milo, his last name is Murphy, and he really has Murphy's Law. Everywhere he goes, everything goes wrong that can possibly go wrong.
Just bad stuff.
So the opening sequence of the entire show is him walking down the street and buildings crashing down behind him and big boulders destroying things. And it's fun. He has a pet dog that follows him everywhere he goes, and the dog's name is D.O.G. So he calls him D.O.G. and always tells D.O.G. to go home.
I think, oh my goodness, that like brings back a memory. I think I had a neighbor or maybe like an uncle or something who had a dog. I think that was the name.
No way,
And
really?
as a kid, I think so. And as a kid, I didn't make the connection, I don't think,
Hmm.
until they explained it to me. It's just
Well,
dog spelled out. Oh
well,
my
yeah.
goodness. That's, oh.
Do they have a cat named Ciati? You know.
Yeah, it's a very creative person.
Well, I'm really creative. Our dog is a purebred Shih Tzu, and I call it, a mutt, even though it's purebred, which is by definition not a mutt, but it's appropriate, because the dog's been inbred so many times, has all kinds of medical issues, so we're constantly having
Oh,
to.
nice.
He, he can't breathe right, or I just all kinds of things. But he's a member of the family, so he's taken care of. We spend more on his dental appointments than we do on any of the other persons in the family. So
Oh no,
dogs are
that's a
expensive.
sad commentary.
I know. It's like maybe we should just brush his teeth ourselves. Oh no, that would be too much work. With all the kids in college now and everything, it's too busy for that sort of
Yeah.
thing, I guess. But
Oh my goodness.
you and I, when we were talking about, or maybe in one of our early streams, we talked about, it'd be really cool to get some people on to visit with us during our live streams, or sort of an interview kind of format. And
Yeah.
we talked about shooting for the moon, and maybe someday. So one of my shooting for the moons, it would be awesome if someday we got Weird Al to meet and visit with us on one of these streams. It would
Yeah.
be amazing just to hear. Yes, it'd be a lot of goofiness and all of that kind of stuff. But in spite of the goofiness of his content, he has been very successful commercially, at least reasonably so. Yeah, he's not,
Yeah.
probably doesn't own multiple yachts like some of them do, but a very successful, well known, and an extremely clever writer. He's very good at writing interesting, fascinating lyrics. I heard when he was early in his career, he had a special radio made, or he would take two radios and put them next to each other, and one of them would be tuned to a popular, like a top 40 radio station, and the other one would be tuned to the news. And by hearing those both overlapping with each other, it'd give him ideas for lyrics to overlay on the songs that were playing on the top 40 radio.
Oh my goodness. That's so weird.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting, like how he seemed to. I don't know that you'd say he's like reinvented himself.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe like he's doing voice acting now.
Hmm.
He didn't start his career out doing that. Um, but so often like the norm with celebrities is that they kind of come and go. Oftentimes they're like a flash in the pan. They might be around and
Hmm.
even be really popular for maybe 5 or 10 years, and then you never really hear about them again, whether it's because they have decided to leave the profession or they're just not getting any more big gigs or whatever. And I remember hearing about Weird Al as a kid. I was introduced to it by like some of my aunts and uncles and things. Like when they would visit, they would. I have a really big family, so I have these aunts and uncles who weren't. Some of them were not all that much older than me, and then went up from there in age. But they they I was introduced to to a lot of things like New Kids on the Block and Weird Al and whatever by these aunts and uncles, and that's how I knew about them. And seeing, I don't know if I ever saw the whole movie of UHF, but I do remember certain parts like the Rambo scene, and things like that. And so most celebrities back then, it would have been like 80s. I think it was like the late 80s. They would have been long gone by then, you know.
Hmm.
But
Well,
somehow he's still around.
I really liked your comment about voiceover artists as well, because by far the most well-known voiceover artists, of course, they get all the attention. I think it was Brian Regan who once said in one of his comedy acts, "Well, I was trying to do some voiceover work, or I did a little voiceover work," and he said, here's what you do: you go and get a voiceover agent. He sends you to an audition. You do the audition, and you wait a few days, and then your voiceover agent calls you to tell you that Morgan Freeman got the job."
Oh my goodness.
Because Morgan
Freeman has
Freeman
a
does
very he has a
everything. I
great
mean,
voice.
basically, every big documentary or anything like that's all Morgan Freeman, because he's got that voice. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness, one of the best things I've ever seen. Do you know Frank Caliendo?
No.
He's a comedian. He does he does a lot of impersonations and things. That's like his whole bit. And he
Hmm.
used to even have a show, a TV show, like a comedy show. I can't
Oh,
remember.
now that I've seen
Maybe
his
it's called,
picture, he looks familiar. Yeah, go ahead.
maybe his show was just called Frank Caliendo, or
Hmm.
I don't know what it was called.
Yeah.
I only saw clips of it later, like on YouTube and stuff. And he'd do these impersonations and things. And he did this one. He did this one. No, he did a few of these. It was so hilarious where he is doing Morgan Freeman's voice and he's doing it like really well. It's like
Hmm.
almost spot on. And he's reading he's reading the transcripts from just different things like in the sports world because he
Hmm.
used to work for what was it for Fox Sports
No way.
something. I don't know. He'd be a guest. He'd do guest appearances on like football shows or something, and he'd do these little skits and stuff. It was really funny. But so he's into sports and things, and he'd read these things that are like it was either like some coach's tirade after they lost a big game or something, and he would read it with
In
Morgan
Morgan
Freeman's
Freeman's
voice.
voice.
Like it was very calm, and oh my goodness, it was so funny. It was I loved it, like combining these two things that wouldn't normally come together, and
Hmm.
he's just making it. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. It's
I
great. We
I
should,
saw on his website. I'm gonna have to go watch this one now. He said
yeah,
apparently he did an impression of one where he did if Donald Trump were a priest. So that's a perfect overlay of a very
yeah. These
non-priesty
two
kind of
worlds,
character acting like a priest or saying things that a priest would say. Yeah.
yeah, these two worlds that would never come together.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, it makes it so funny.
That's
When
great.
when did okay? So do you know? Is this the first voice acting thing that Weird Al has done, or has he gotten into this sort of thing?
I think he's
'Cause I
done some other shows, and I don't remember where. What was it? Voice work. He's done stuff with. Oh wow, he was actually in an episode of The Simpsons way back in '03. Um,
oh
there's
okay.
I there's that '90s show, an episode of Adult Swim. I mean, a whole bunch of them apparently that I've only seen a few of them. One of my favorite ones that I should be questioning my sanity to admit. Our kids used to be really into My
Uh-oh.
Little Pony, and he made a guest appearance on My Little Pony as Cheese Sandwich. So apparently the ponies they have
What?
this little every little pony has this little like not a tattoo but kind of like that a little mark on their side, and it's a
You'll call it a
logo that has to
tattoo.
do with their character, right? And Weird Al Yankovic did the voice of a horse that had a cheese sandwich logo. Apparently he likes cheese sandwiches.
What? That was like the last logo available. Like,
I think it.
I'm
I'm sure.
sorry,
I'm
you
sure
get
he
the
was
cheese
thinking
sandwich.
he wanted something ridiculous. If you've seen the movie UHF, you know that in one of the opening sequences, he makes for his
Oh
roommate
my,
a
I think
Twinkie
I'm
wiener
crying.
sandwich. So you take a Twinkie, cut it down the middle, and use it as a hot dog bun, and put whipped cream on top. I don't know if he really likes it, but he definitely did that in the show. So I can
Oh
see
my
a cheese
goodness.
sandwich themed horse being his
I
spirit animal.
wow. I don't even know what to think about that. That is so bizarre. Cheese sandwich themed
Yeah,
horse.
yeah. Go watch it. You know you'll love it. But it's definitely Weird Al. It's definitely got his voice.
Oh my goodness. That is so bizarre. Anyway.
Oh yeah. So he
Oh,
directs a
that's
bunch of
great.
his own music videos and does a lot of the writing for his stuff and other interesting things. So hopefully he'll continue
Yeah.
to be around for a while. Uh, in fact, he's wow, he's I guess one of his most recent Grammys was actually in 2019 for his work called Squeezebox.
Squeeze
But
box.
yeah, appropriately named, right?
Yes. Definitely.
Nice.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
we've been going for a good, I don't know, close to half an hour or something like that. We should probably wrap up for today. We will have an upcoming guest later this week. We're looking forward to talking with Kim when she comes on with us, hopefully on Thursday, if everything works out well. And we will look forward to
Yeah.
talking to you then. Again, please like, comment, subscribe, share with other people, and that you don't have to share with the links, but please let people know. And we always look forward to seeing your comments, whether on LinkedIn or YouTube, or come over to the website at whatdidiwanttobe.com. Drop us an email or something like that. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
I got something in my eyeball just now.